What's up everybody, Sam Smyers here. Today I want to show you how to make some of the most essential deep house bass sounds in Vital. Vital is a synth that is very similar to Serum, but of course it's free. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I wanted to make this video because I already have a video going over how to create these deep house bass sounds in Serum. And I wanted to do this video to show you how you can make it in Vital if you have Vital instead, or you're on a budget and you can't actually grab Serum. I'm going to go through 5 different sounds. The first sound is going to be like your typical FM bass pluck. So let me just go ahead and play a note here. Now that's going to be what the initial preset sounds like. It's just going to be this saw wave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to basic shapes, turn it into your sine wave here, take it down to -24 on the transpose. So now it's going to be super low. It just sounds like a sub. Then I'm going to create another one here, and I'm going to search harmonic series. And then I'm going to raise this up so that there are 4 of those. And then I'm going to turn this pitch down to -24 as well. And then what I'm going to do is turn the level down here because we actually don't need to hear oscillator 2 because we're going to be using the FM synthesis. So you click here and then you do FM from oscillator 2. And then we're going to turn that down. And I'm going to go to my envelope 1 and maybe shape this a little bit. And go to my envelope 2. And for envelope 2, I'm going to make this more of a pluck sound. And then I'm going to assign envelope 2 by dragging it over to this knob here, to the FM. And right about there, we're getting our FM sound, our FM bass sound. And so what I can do is, I like to, and I don't know if this is right, but I can go to my LFO1 here, and I can do the same thing. I can assign this LFO1 to this knob here. And I'm going to click here, go to seconds, change the mode to envelope, and then drag this up to this FM knob. And I feel like this just gives a bit more of a clicky sound at the beginning of the note. And I'm going to do another one and drag this LFO2 to the knob. Sorry about that, that was a little aggressive. And right there, we already have a pretty awesome FM bass sound now. There's a little bit of a clickiness at the beginning. If you want to take some of that out, you can add some attack to this envelope 1. And we can go to our effects and you can add a compressor, let's say just single band. And we can raise this up. Turn the band down. Sounds like it distorts a little bit when I increase that release. That might be all that I do. I could also add some EQ if I want to maybe take out some of the low end if it's too much in the low end. And then go to your voices here, you take it down to 1 because you're just going to be playing these bass plucks. And so that's really it for that FM bass sound. I did that pretty quickly. Just check out this menu here and then the effects, just do a compressor. You could add some EQ, distortion to shape the sound a bit more. And then also you can adjust all of the modulations to this effects, to this FM knob to get you more or less of that FM sound. So let me go ahead and initialize that preset. So that was the first sound. The second sound I'm going to do is going to be a bit of a softer sounding pluck, like a square wave pluck. So let's go to my basic shapes here and let's do a square wave. And we'll take this down to -24. And let's go to oscillator 2. And for oscillator 2, we'll leave it on this saw wave, but turn down the level a tiny bit. And I'm going to increase the unison here and turn down the detune a tiny bit. And we can make the pluck sound here on envelope 1 by adjusting the decay And I can turn on my filter here, and I can assign my envelope 1 to the cutoff here. I just drag it to the cutoff and make sure to turn it on for oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. And you can change the Q or the slope here. And as I'm changing this and adjusting this envelope 1, you can hear how it gets brighter. So maybe I'll do something like that, and then I'll go to my effects, and let's say I add on a compressor. Single band is good for me. Let's raise this up. I could add some distortion if I want. I could add a chorus. And let's do the chorus after the distortion. Sorry, that was the compressor. Let's add the chorus after the distortion there. And maybe I just want to add on an EQ so that I can control that sound a bit more. And there I'm adding a low cut and a high cut. And there you have this really nice, wide, subtle bass pluck that will work really well underneath some lead stabs, and it will work well just handling a groove of a deep house style of track. And you can adjust this filter however you want to be able to make it brighter or less bright. Or also the filter on the effects here. So that is going to be the second sound. That's like a Gorgon City style of sound. Let's go ahead and initialize the preset and go on to our third sound. So the third sound is going to be that Meduza style of growl that you hear a lot in deep house tracks. So to start, let's go ahead and raise up the unison voices here to 7. And go ahead and pitch the oscillator down. Let's do -24. And take the detune down. Now we're going to adjust the envelope 1 so that it has that long release. And then let's go to our effects here. Let's add on a compressor. I'm going to do multiband for this now. And some distortion here. And I know it sounds really bright right now because I'm going to add on a filter. And I'm actually going to assign the envelope 1 to the filter here instead of putting it on the other menu. Just want to show you another option of how you could use a filter and modulate it. And from here, you just have to adjust the modulation here and then also the slope here, or the resonance. And maybe I'll make some adjustments to this envelope 1 here. And put my voices on 1. Maybe make some additional adjustments. And really just have to play around with this filter here. I could add some drive. And that'll give you that really cool growl sound that's really popular in deep house or Meduza style of tracks. So that is the third sound. Let's go ahead and go on to the fourth sound. The fourth sound is going to be a Reese Bass. Reese basses are really popular for the breaks of songs or the verses or the bridges, basically the parts of the songs that are a little bit more spacey, not exactly the drops or the heaviest part of the song. So I'm going to start with the defaults here, and I'm going to raise the voices all the way up to 16. take the pitch down to -24. And then I'm going to turn on oscillator 2, take the pitch down, take the unison up to 16, turn the level down a bit, and I'll leave the pitch alone there. And adjust my envelope 1 here. And we're going to add on a filter. So let's go ahead and assign our envelope 1 to the filter, to oscillator 1 and 2. Adjust the resonance. And go to our effects. Let's add on a compressor. And go back to our voices. And change this to 24 for the slope. Because I just want a bit of a stab sound at the beginning, and then I want it to have a bit of a filtered pad effect or sound. And really all you have to do is adjust the settings of this filter to get the sound that you want. I could increase the drive here. And that'll give me a bit of a grittier sound. So that is going to be the fourth sound, is that Reese Bass sound. And let's go on to the fifth and final sound. So the fifth sound is actually going to be a sub bass that will work really well for tech house and also deep house. I'm actually going to start with basic shapes here and go to a square wave. And for oscillator 2, I'm going to leave this on the saw wave. Turn down the pitch to -24. And then for this second oscillator, turn it down to -12. And then I'm going to go to my filter here, turn it on for oscillator 1 and 2, change this to analog. And that's really it for that part. So let me go to my effects and add on a compressor. I'll just do the single band. And go to my voices here, turn this down to 1. And if I didn't do the voices to 1 on any of the other sounds, then just remember to do that for any bass sound, because you're not going to be having multiple notes on top of each other usually. You could add some distortion too to the sound. But I don't think you really need the distortion, and that's really it. It's a really simple sound, but I think it really cuts through the mix by using this square wave and then a saw wave instead of using something like a sine wave. So I hope that was helpful. Those were 5 different deep house bass sounds that you can make in Vital. I'll go ahead and put a link down below if you actually want to grab any of these sounds. Instead of making them yourself, you can grab the presets down below for free. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give a like. And also, if you are not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. And finally, if you are truly looking to improve your mixing skills, then check out my Modern Mix Academy. This is a full online mixing course that I created that will help you make some of the best records of your life from the comfort of your own home. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.